What up, what up, what up, world? It's your boy Jaystar back again with another video. We got the Thursday night showdown full strategy show right here today. So we're gonna get right into this as we always do, going over defensive, schemes and how offensively, you're gonna be able to attack it so that way we can get the most fantasy points. Before I even do that though, I'm gonna also just go over what each team is giving up per position to fantasy points to each position. So we're gonna do that first. So Commanders so far I'm looking at quarterback, they're giving up about 19 points. And then running backs they're giving up 20 points fantasy to, and that's total. So that's between two backs basically if they're gonna run with two different backs. And then receivers total fantasy points is 43 fantasy points. And tight end is 7 fantasy points. So then for the Bears, at quarterback is 17 fantasy points. Running back is 23 fantasy points, and like I said, that's total. So for both running backs there to be able to get a part of that, and then 30 fantasy points for the receivers, and 8 fantasy points for tight ends. So looking at both of these, fantasy points per team is like, seems to me that a receiver would probably be more than likely be captain in this game, or we'll be looking at a running back going against the Bears then. So, Gibson or Robinson looks like would be the best captains when it comes to the fantasy point part of this. But I'm going to go ahead and look at it for defensively wise of like how you're going to attack both of these teams. And both of these teams both run a 4-3 defenses here. So I would have to say both teams going to have to try to establish some type of run to set up the play action for big plays to their big play receivers and things like that. In that order then of players that would do good then for each team, we go to Washington. It would be Wentz then will be one of the best captains then for that side. McLaurin, McLaurin, I would say just, I feel like his matchup is going to be tough. Being that Jalen Johnson is ready to go for this game. I know we just saw what Jefferson was able to do, but that was without Jalen Johnson. And really, when I went back and watched the game, they kind of stayed away from, just the other cornerbacks. I want to say the other starting cornerback, and kind of attacked the rookie in the slot, and then the backup that came in for Jalen Johnson. But now it'll probably only be the slot is what I would think now. So to me, it's the running backs for sure. Like I'm saying, like I don't know for sure if it's gonna be Gibson or Robinson. I actually like Robinson more though, just because of the fact his first game, and also I like to pay attention to this too. When teams play on short weeks, they kind of like hold back a little bit on some of their weapons and things like that. And I look at like he only had 9 touches. Gibson only had a very few touches too as well, like 3 touches. But it's just the fact that as soon as the rookie came back, he out touched Gibson. So I think they really want to run the ball more with Robinson. But I think being it was a first game back, they wasn't gonna put him out there for 15 to 20 touches. But I kind of feel like they might do that now that they laid off for a game and let him get 4 days, because he has another game to come right back to playing. So I would think he could be more than likely being captain. I feel like he's going to get like the goal line rush attempts and stuff like that. I feel like he's just probably a better actual running back than Gibson is. I think Gibson's more pass catching. It's not that he can't get there too as well, but I just feel like they really want to roll with this young buck right here. But also like McLaurin, yeah, we know he can get there too. I just want to say though, he does have the harder matchup. Curtis Samuel has an easier matchup in the slot. Like I was just saying with when I was watching the Jefferson, they was moving him into the slot, getting him the ball. He went off as y'all saw. Also like when the slot cornerback matched up with Thielen, when he matched up with KJ Osborne, that's when they threw that way to him too as well. And I'm just thinking of the fact that Curtis Samuel has so many targets every game. Like, and he's already showed that he can get to 20 fantasy points at least twice out of the 5. And like I said, the targets ain't changing. Like he's getting the bulk load of the targets. Even though I know we saw what Brown did in the last game right here, but this is 2 targets caught for 50 something yards and stuff like that, averaging like for 100 something, 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not always going to happen. It was good to see though that instantly basically he took the Dotson role, because on this team the big play receiver is kind of Dotson, and then McLaurin of course, but more than likely the third wideout is going to have an easier matchup. So I'm not saying that Brown can't do that again. I just feel like more than likely this team is pretty good. Like I said, when all the cornerbacks are healthy and things, and they should be all back healthy now, with Jalen Johnson kind of taking away, I feel like McLaurin a little bit, Curtis Samuel, I feel like has the best, way of getting there because of the actual targets and things like that, and the volume going to him. I really like him a lot. I think one of the best captains. Like I say, a crazy shot would be to take like Robinson at captain, but I mean they do give up the run here, so I really could see Robinson shockingly getting to like a 23 fantasy points here. But then Wentz has got to be in play too because of something that they given up about 17 to near 20 fantasy points to there. If I had to go through just all the flex options after I'm taking one of these captains basically or whatever, I'm looking at, let's see, who are we looking at here? Because we're looking at, let me see, Bears. We said 23 to running backs. That means both running backs, because we don't really know which one it would be. But 30 fantasy points to receiver. So outside of like one of these receivers get 20 and the other one doesn't get the other 10, and there's somebody else, then we definitely got to say, Brown is going to be in play then. Don't want to put him there. I want to make sure he's just in the flex here for now. So Brown would be there. I like Bates a lot because of the fact I like Bates really over Brown just because there's no competition here. Like Logan Thomas is out, and Logan Thomas wasn't playing last game. He only had 3 targets, but I don't know. I just got this feeling like it's what Bears giving up 8 fantasy points. That could be end up being enough. And if he actually gets a touchdown with that, then we're talking about like 14 fantasy points there for him. And I just feel like, without the competition, and if Carson Wentz is in pressure or something like that, he's got to dump the ball off. It's going to probably be the John Bates. So I really like John Bates as another flex option there. Probably, I feel like, I know it's not, tight ends usually don't outplay receivers that can go deep and catch one big, play, catch and things like that for 50 yards and stuff like that. But if he can get 4 or 5 targets in this game and catch a touchdown, then he might actually outplay Diami Brown and stuff like that. So let me think of somebody else in here that I like. I like the Commanders defense just because we know the Bears do take a lot of sacks. So I wouldn't mind you taking Commanders defense. I expect them to get some sacks. And also what I noticed too is Fields is fumbling a lot. Where is it right here? Look at this. This is crazy. Like this is a lot of fumbles, y'all. Like he only lost 1 so far because his line is like prepared. It's like I feel like the reason why he doesn't lose it is because the line is getting, just people going right through them, and they're basically looking at the quarterback instead of facing, up the field like they should be all the time. They're looking at the quarterback fumble the ball, which they're prepared to go down and grab it, So that's the only reason why I think that they're not becoming, lost fumbles. But this is a lot of fumbles, 6 fumbles in 5 games. That's more, that's more fumbles than games. So also 4 interceptions. I mean, just been playing bad lately. So I would have to say, definitely in a flex option would be Washington's Commanders defense. And let's see if we can get maybe one more good play here. I mean, Cam Sims is in play if, Brown can't go for sure, I would say, for a cheap option down there. But I don't think I would really want anybody else unless the backup tight end, I would have to say. Like, whoever's the backup tight end, which is Cole Turner, it looks like. It's the first tight end I see. Yeah, because IR here. Oh, my bad. They have Armani Rogers, I mean. So, okay, so he would be the first tight end then. So, yeah, always those backup tight ends, I got to say, like, they always could come through. You never know. Like, they're more than likely going to be out on the field at some point anyways, even if they're in there to block, and then they can just pop out the backfield on a goal line, catch a touchdown. So, definitely Armani Rogers will be in play in there. And I think that's about it for this side. I'm going to go to the other side of the field here. Like I said, same thing over here. Since they playing a 4-3 defense, need to establish the run and then hit on some big plays. The only thing is we know Fields doesn't throw a lot, but he does have an added weapon. So coming back today for this game, at least, for tomorrow's game, and we're gonna have to say Fields is definitely gonna be in play to be captain just because of the rushing opportunity. Have yet to see him put up 20 fantasy points. So, but like I say, with an added weapon coming back, he's been in need of another weapon to, like I say, I wouldn't want to see him throw 30 times a game. Like, I really want to see him get up there. I feel like maybe we can get added eight passes right here, maybe to another receiver. Now that we have all the way down here at the bottom, N'Keal Harry is back. So coming back, from injury, destination, and everything. So Thursday game, I feel like they're gonna have to, like, I know it says he can also, not exist at all in the game plan and things like that. But I'm like, they clearly need a weapon out there to catch the ball. Like they need somebody else. Like Mooney is getting double covered every play. So if Harry comes in, he's going to be probably one-on-one covered most of the game and things like that. And I don't see why you wouldn't throw him the ball 8 times. Like it might open up a Mooney deep catch for a touchdown in this game if you can just get Harry the ball. So Harry is actually in play, like to me, a really cheap captain, really cheap captain. I think he's $300 at captain. So he could be like 8 targets and 20 points. I mean, you got to think he's coming from a team where he wanted to get traded last 2 seasons, I want to say, from the Patriots. He really feels like he's a real number one draft pick receiver. Like he was drafted number one in the first round, I mean, but he just never shown it, but he feels like, he's capable of being one of the best receivers out there and stuff like that, or at least being a for sure legit number one receiver. And so this is the perfect team for him to be on to because he should have a boatload of targets in this game, especially since like I said, they should be doubling up on Mooney, which of course Mooney would be in play too still. But N'Keal Harry, man, if he comes in there and gets 8 to 10 targets, then because Mooney is only getting like 6 or 5, 5. So, and it hasn't shown able to do anything. Like I said, it's because of the fact he's being double covered the whole game. They're taking away Mooney. Every team's just taking away Mooney and forcing Fields to go somewhere else. So at least now he has an added target here, which I would feel like Harry, Fields, over picking Mooney at captain. I would think Montgomery would be a better captain here. Like I said, establishing the run to hitting your big play receiver, then Fields having a good day because he can rush in a touchdown as well as throw, a big one here. And get to 20 points fantasy finally. And so these three will be my favorite plays there at captain. And then I would have to say when it comes to just flex options though, actual flex options, we got to of course put Mooney in there just because he hits on deep routes. We saw that big one-hand catch he caught. If he would have caught that, in the touchdown, it would have been huge. Like he would have had what would he have came to then? Because I mean he was probably like 20 yards short of the touchdown, I would say, when he caught that. So you're looking at 70. So about 12, then the touchdown with that. We're looking at about 18 fantasy points. And in this game, man, like 18 fantasy points is going to be heavily needed. It feels like a very ugly game. Feels like, 18 or to 20 fantasy points. Even every 15 fantasy point is going to be needed, whoever can even get there. But on this side of the field, I mean, Bears have always been like a run, pass team like that. I would say, man, I'm trying to think because I wouldn't think every pass catching option is really in play here just because they don't pass a lot here. So I don't want to just be telling y'all, oh, Komet, and all these people because they just don't pass a lot. Like you look at these targets, like come on now, 4, 3, 3. We're not getting even double digit points. I mean, 5,200. I don't know if I would really want to say Komet and stuff like that. I think though, who else would I say though here? I've definitely got to say, my bad. I want to say the Santos kicker here. I like him a lot. I mean, at least he's shown he can get over 10 fantasy points back-to-back games here, at least. Or, well, he was out one of the games. But, yeah, back-to-back almost games in here. And he also, like I tell you, I always like kickers that's going to kick 50-yard long kicks because instantly we get in 5 points off of one kick. If he can do that twice in a game, we're already at 10 points, So, and I definitely feel like Chicago usually has a hard time scoring. Maybe not with N'Keal Harry. Maybe they have a better chance of, getting a goal line or a red zone attempt and actually throwing one to N'Keal Harry for a touchdown. Being at home and everything, maybe that works out because he's a big target. So adding him into the, red zone like that should help them. But if they are getting stopped still, because Fields getting sacked, like we already know he can do, and fumbles on like a 3rd and long or something like that, there you go. Then, they fumble, but they don't lose the ball, at least, you know what I'm saying? And then it's 4th down for a 50-yard long kick. Boom. There goes Carol Santos, for 2 kicks could happen like that. So definitely have to say he's bigger in play than some of these actual weapons like Komet and things like that. I'm trying to see what else I would say. Wentz does get sacked a little bit. Bears defense could get an interception though. If Wentz is forcing a pass over to like McLaurin or something like that with Jaylon Johnson being out. So I would have to say, I mean, they got an interception almost every game. So it just hasn't been returned yet for a touchdown or anything like that. Their sacks is pretty low, but Wentz is the number 1 in sacks. So got to put the Bears defense in that as a flex option because of those reasons. This is crazy when I really think about how many sacks both of these quarterbacks could end up getting. It's going to really take one of these quarterbacks. I mean, I feel like both of them can do it, but maybe Fields is maybe better when it comes to actual running. But it's going to take them to buy more time in the pocket since they both give up sacks. If not, man, oh man, these defenses, it could be that ugly of a game, man. Real talk, like so ugly where we talking about. We already seen it. I think last Thursday was both defenses. Um, yeah, when I really think about it now, like man, like yeah, being that they both get so many sacks, we could see something ugly. Let me see. What can I come up with then real quick? Because um like I don't think there was any more options to go to for the Chicago side just because of the amount they're not throwing enough to me. Um so I really don't think it's anybody else that we already know everybody's gonna have N'Keal Harry, at least if they know about him. You know, the people that do know about him will have him. Like I said, the only other play here was Armani Rogers that I thought down there was good enough. But in an ugly game like this, man, like if we toss in both defenses, let me just see what are we looking at here? Like 36 4,000. Who do I think is going to score the ball though, like for the touchdown? Because that's what's going to matter most. And I just, like I said, I really like. Man, it's funny because Washington gives up the more points for fantasy at receivers, and it's enough for like two receivers to get 20 fantasy points. But it's just that this quarterback only he doesn't throw enough for what I would think of two receivers. Um, I think I would say let's see. We go with Fields. Let's try to take Fields here, just because of rushing ability. I would think Wentz still probably could make it in this lineup in this freaking crazy mess right here, just because of the amount of passing attempts he does gets him there. I feel like with the yard still, even if he is getting sacked and things like that, I just think he's still like Wentz. What I noticed about Wentz, period, he didn't do good against both of these rivalry, type of games and stuff like that. Outside of the rivalries, he's done pretty good fantasy points. Like if you see right here, the one thing I do notice is that it seems like he starts off real slow. So period, like it can start off real ugly in this game for him, but he seems to like warm up second half and stuff like that and gets going then. So then that's when he comes and gets these crazy fantasy points. The Detroit game right here, I remember his points was probably like in the 9s and 8s and at halftime, and then he ends up with 31. This game right here, Tennessee game, he was looking ugly before that, and then next thing he gets Diami Brown for 2 touchdowns, and he's a slow starter. So definitely would have to say him. Fields is kind of feels like the same way to me too. He kind of real slow starter too. He gets warmed up. Like that's why a lot of field goals happen early, I would say, for them. So this could be so ugly that yeah, we put Santos in here. Oh man, then we got 17,000. We just take freaking any of these top ones right here, other than maybe Gibson. I wouldn't take, but godly, it's gonna leave a lot of money probably. This is just such an ugly game, y'all. Like, oh my god. And maybe like we take out one of these quarterbacks here if we think maybe one of the receivers outplays them. I feel like man, this is gonna be this is really gonna be so ugly that there could be. It was already matter of fact. I'm trying to think of the last Thursday night game. I'm gonna tell y'all like for real. I swear it was like something about like if I take where is he at again? N'Keal Harry here. Okay, so $14,900 left over right here. Last week on Thursday, y'all, it was $17,900 left over in that winning lineup. So like something crazy like this looks so ugly, but I mean it really could be the winning lineup, y'all. Like I'm not even playing no games, like just because of the fact, they giving up so many points to receivers, so N'Keal Harry could have a big game and it just still not be needed for his quarterback to be there. Carol Santos kicks in like 3 50-yard kicks and gets you 15 points fantasy. With Wentz, like I said, he starts off real slow but gets going late. So and it also could have been him at captain just because of the fact that he's putting up, I feel like, more points than everybody on his team, huh? Didn't even think about that part. Like the 22 and 20, that was the games when Wentz had 30, right? And I don't think nobody on his team, if we go over here, McLaurin, we know he didn't get there because he's yet to get 20 fantasy. So yeah, like if you really think about it, Gibson, how many points he had? Never had, nowhere near close to what he's had. McKissick, I'm sure, no, he didn't get there. And Dotson, that's who I need to be looking for. Yeah, there's nobody getting more than Wentz, really. So Wentz is actually the best captain here. It's crazy to say that. Like, you take Wentz here, and then we go ahead and roll with Curtis Samuel since he's getting the targets and stuff like that. We could be looking at something ugly like this, y'all. Like, ugly like this, or replacing Bears defense if you think Fields gets there with the rushing ability and throwing to just N'Keal Harry, maybe the running doesn't get there for him. If not, I don't mind taking the running back to outplay him because I feel like he's outplayed him at least probably twice maybe there. So you can roll with something like that. Yeah, but this is gonna be an ugly game. Like I said last week, talking about 17,900 was left on remaining salary and they won it all. And I'm telling you, you can win $1 million by just leaving a lot of money. I kind of feel like some of these ugly games, it's not really about what I'm starting to notice is like another thing to not take a sleeper. Like if there's not really a great sleeper, like because N'Keal Harry, I don't think he's gonna be a really sleeper option. I think a lot of people gonna have him. I think he probably might be 15 to 20% on. That's not a sleeper really, for $200. So, but a way to go basically having a sleeper is basically just having a lot of remaining salary. That's how people have been winning these like showdowns lately. Like I've been noticing for these last 5 weeks, the people that's won the whole showdown by themselves and taking the whole $1 million have just left a lot of salary. In the games where I want to say they didn't win, of course, by themselves, is like it's way more better. It's a better game first of all, and then it's better options to pick. When it comes to players that you need to pay up for and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of salary remaining left in those games, so those games usually tie because everybody kind of knows where to go. But a game like this, there's not really great, people below what I want to say, like basically below the kicker. Really, I want to say like John Bates is a good play, but is he going to get us 15 fantasy points? Maybe not, So it's like the defense is probably the last thing we really looking at, like for real. And then of course, like I said, N'Keal Harry's in play, but I'm saying besides if N'Keal Harry wasn't there, we'd probably be stopping right here at defense to maybe John Bates and stuff like that. So the sleeper play in this to win this all this time would be to leave a lot of remaining salary here on your on the slate to build your lineup up and things, and that's how you're gonna win it all. So trying to get just the key people, like I said, Wentz is like he's still outplaying everybody in this. He's the best fantasy player so far, shown proven here, putting up 30 to 25 fantasy point. So he might end up being the captain here, and going with a full stack with him. Man, like I'm just trying to think of like because it could be a 5v1 lineup here where McLaurin just because of the targets alone gets there, and then we roll with either running back here. I don't really care, like either running back here, and just this could be just all this way right here with just N'Keal Harry run back, and whatever the remaining salary this leaves us with, something like this, like for real, just leaving this much money wins it all. But that's it, man. Like I tried, man, with this game. This is just gonna be an ugly game, man. But try my best to help y'all out with the most, best way that I feel like things can be attacked and everything. Like I said, if Wentz is able to hit on his big plays, receivers and things like that, they're setting up the run, and then his defense is getting the sacks and things like that. Like it makes sense that it would be Wentz, like I said, because I would rather have in this game anyways the quarterback that's gonna be willing to throw more. And basically, and he has two to three different backs that he's probably going to use in this game to try to get the run going. Compared to the other side where it's just like we don't really know, like he's not throwing enough. If he gets down big, like is he going to throw still, or is just going to be, or is he just going to continue to go to the run? Because that's just not going to get it done. But it's your boy Jaystar, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the rest of this week, man. We got the full strategy show for the week 6, man. For the whole slate, value plays and things like that on Saturday. Man, I hope y'all win this money, man, because like I said, leaving a lot of money is probably going to be the ways to go. Hope y'all hit big, man. Get some of that $1 million, man, to get y'all week started the right way. But I'm out. Peace.